Ladies and gentlemen, sorry I'm late, but we are here. We are here for Marked by Wrestling. We're here for NXT. And it appears that while I was running behind, we are going to have our North American title match kicking off the show. So glad you guys are here. And let's have a North American title match. And I will catch up with you guys in the chat any minute now. Been quite a day. North American Championship on the line. Ethan Page defending against the NXT debuting Elio LeFleur, the French luchador. Say hello to Dossie Chatham Dro. George here in the house as always. Last name, middle name. Good to see you, Justin. And Sophie, good to see you as well as and Tyrell. Hello. Good to see you. Yeah, I was doing my best AJ impersonation tonight and blaming the traffic, man. Traffic at rush hour is no joke in the city of LA. Yeah, so we can talk about Unreal. I'm going to be making a brief Unreal reactions video tonight or tomorrow. I did watch all of season 2 of Unreal. And you know, there's parts of the show that I really enjoy, and there's some parts, you know, maybe I don't need to see as much, but I also really do like the added context, the sort of dirt sheet killing that Unreal does. Anyway, but maybe we'll talk about that some tonight if there's anything specific. If you guys have already watched Unreal, that you maybe want to talk about, we can talk about that some tonight. But I'll have a video coming. I think there was a couple of people. I can think of 3 people in Unreal this season who I came out, I would say, having more respect for. Mod Father's in the house. Good to see you. Yeah, season 3 of Unreal will be this summer, and it's going to cover the SummerSlam to December portion of John Cena's retirement tour. So very interesting. Yeah, so there's 3 figures in Unreal this season as this match is underway that I found pretty sympathetic, that I came away liking a little more. One, surprisingly, is taking a beating on social media, and that's Road Dogg. I thought Road Dogg came out pretty good in that match in that show. And I'll elaborate more later. Also, Lyra Valkyria, I felt really sympathetic towards. They explored some of the things she was highly criticized about over the course of the year. And honestly, if you were actually paying attention, I think there's plenty of evidence in Unreal this past season, according to what they're showing us, that Triple H does want LA Knight to succeed. But unfortunately, there were some things getting in the way of that, and I'll talk more about that in my actual video. But yeah. Oh, and also Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes. I will say this part because I'll say this in my video too. But Michael Hayes, basically, I can't repeat how he said it because I'm not one to do a lot of swearing on the channel. But at Evolution, when Rhea and Io were main eventing, of course, we all know, Naomi cashed in at that. Naomi was great in Unreal too, by the way. Michael Hayes was like, well, you guys better get your matches in under time because the main event's going to take all the time at once. So he was just like straight up putting 10 toes down, standing on business, saying Rhea and Io will not get their time cut. And everybody else can just deal with it. And I was like, let's go, Michael Hayes. Like, let those ladies cook. So, one of the reasons he is a piece of the reason why that match went off so well, because he fought for them to get the time that they deserved. So that was pretty cool to see. And yeah, the Lyra, man, gosh, Lyra cares so much about doing a good job. And I just wanted to give her a big hug. I know I'm getting old now because I just seeing her strive to do well just kind of reminded me of one of my daughters. And I'm like, oh, now I'm feeling old. I'm looking at these women like a daughter instead of a sister or a peer. But yeah, I mean, the street fight they had or the no DQ match at SummerSlam, as ugly as it was at times, Becky and Hunter and everybody, I think, were really gracious with her. But also, like, yeah, just one of those things where that match was a comedy of errors, unfortunately, and they knew it, So anyway, I think there was a lot of grace extended in that season. Yeah, well, the problem with Becky and Lyra's match was a lot of their spots didn't go according to plan, and they didn't necessarily improvise well, and that led to it going overtime. Modfather says Lyra, Maxine, and Kyrie can be a part of the honorary Yam Club. They can sit at the kids' table at Thanksgiving. Modfather, is that what it is? But no, I have appreciation for all three of those ladies. They bring it for sure. Yeah, the R-Truth scenario was pretty fascinating as well. Also, I found it interesting who they decided to tell. When it came down to Truth returning and Seth's fake injury, both of those elements of secrecy that happened during this time period, that Unreal Season 2, whenever, I was really fascinated by who they chose to tell and who they didn't choose to tell. Because they spent a lot of time establishing that Road Dogg and R-Truth have been best buds, and Road Dogg has a deep affection for R-Truth, stemming back to like being a like a support for him in his substance abuse recovery. And so he was understandably upset to learn the news of Truth leaving. Modfather, you're 100% right about Kyrie's elbow drop. She has got the best elbow drop since Randy Savage. Like, I mean, the way it's the torque, man, she puts into it. When she's up in the air and the way she just swings it up before she drops it, like, it's so good. So good. Yeah, that particular scene, Sophie, about Seth not wanting LA Knight to know about the injury angle. But I want to give Seth credit. He came around. And I want to give Triple H credit too for explaining that well, for really explaining, like, imagine you were in that position, Seth, and you thought you had ended somebody's career. Wouldn't you be pissed if you found out that was all the work and nobody told you? Like, So I'm glad they told LA Knight, for real. And also, LA Knight, knowing what was going on, did a great job of selling it too, for his side of things. Sophie, I think Unreal could continue probably twice a year for as long as they want. Give me just a second, guys. Got to holler at a channel mascot. You're ordering CPK, Dro. Okay. What's your go-to at CPK? Just curious to know. Yeah, it seems like Brock was a bit of a secret too, because even they show you when he's about to show up that Triple H pretty much ordered everybody to leave the gorilla position backstage. So I think they wanted to keep it as secretive as possible, it seems. This LeFleur kid is a good high flyer. I've not really done much play-by-play here. George, you know what? I just think Ethan Page is still gonna come away with the title here, because I know they're not done with the qualifiers for the world title ladder match, but I would have thought Ethan Page would have been a lock for that ladder match. He's probably the best heel in the company right now. Well, in NXT, I mean, and he would be a great choice for threatening to get another run with the NXT title. I would want him in that match. I'd want him in that ladder match, but not while he's still North American champion, though. You know, Sophie, they probably will give us more about Brock in that next season, because since they stopped at SummerSlam, they're going to have to talk about WrestlePalooza and that match. And I'm curious if they give us any more of Cena's perspective from there. Because we haven't gotten much there so far. Page gets his knees up on a 450. Oh, you're right, Sophie. Ava said that last week. He could only be in the title match if he dropped the North American title. And you're right. You're absolutely right. I forgot. LeFleur counters the Ego's Edge and gets kind of a haluva kick there in the corner. LeFleur charged in the corner, but he gets caught in a powerbomb position and dropped by Ethan Page. Oh, and the tights are pulled, and we get a 3 count. So, still North American champion. I tell you what, I think that was a solid debut by LeFleur. I think we're going to have fun seeing more of him in the future. But of course, Ethan Page, one step ahead. And there we are. Yeah, the Rascals in AEW. I know one of them, well, all 4 of them were there for like a minute, and then one guy, Trey Miguel, is that who it was? Like left like within 24 hours. Oh, happy birthday to your uncle, Dro. I hope he's having a wonderful day. Does that have anything to do with the CPK? Just curious. Oh, now here comes Ricky Saints, while Ethan Page is still posing with his North American and AAA title. Ricky Saints. Okay. Ricky looking like a bougie Aquaman out here. He's got those loser Miami Hurricane colors on. If any of you follow college football, I know a couple of you do. But yeah, I appreciate that little interaction, that little heel interaction there between Ricky and Ethan. And even Ethan's like, what's with this guy? So we're going to start with the qualifying matches for the NXT ladder match, which will be on February 3rd. So we've got 2 of those matches on the line happening tonight. So you've got, forgive me, everybody, Shiloh Hill and Josh Briggs, and also Sean Legacy versus Eli Knight, both of those guys from Evolve, which could be a real show stealer tonight. We'll see what happens. Oh man, so what do we think of Gunther versus AJ Styles? You know, I am a little shocked that they are already putting AJ Styles' career as a stipulation in the at the Royal Rumble already. I'm not ready. I honestly, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, because either AJ's gonna win, and I don't think Gunther needs to lose a one-on-one match right now, coming off of retiring John Cena. or AJ will retire, and I'm not ready for that to happen yet so early in the year. So, I mean, in the first month of January, are you kidding me? Like, my only thought, and this is my only thought here, is that what if they are indeed retiring AJ Styles from WWE and he finishes out the year in TNA? If he actually finishes out his career in TNA. And that I would be okay with. I don't want to see him go to AEW. I don't want to see him get him dropped on his neck so close to retiring 100 times. But if they can sweetheart this way into sending him into TNA to do his victory lap, I think that could be a lot of fun because TNA could probably use a little bit of juice on that AMC deal that just debuted. I know there was a lot of chatter about the quality of that first episode online. I didn't watch it, but if AJ Styles goes back to TNA, there's a few matches he could have there. I think it could be really fun, and could get a few one-off matches there and wrap things up. Honestly, I just hope AJ Styles gets to wrap up his in-ring career the way he wants to, which is kind of what I wanted for Cena too. So I hope he doesn't get too big of a mess like Cena did. I just hope he gets the matches he wants and that he feels good about them. That's all I really ever want for any of these performers for the most part. Except for Goldberg, maybe. But other than that, oh, Modfather, you're right about debuting at the Rumble and possibly retiring at the Rumble. But I tell you what, yeah, if he does the old salmon jacket, if he does the old Mark Henry, that would be wild. Well, Sophie, it would be the first time someone, if he lost, had to retire. When they did the Ric Flair angle in 2008, Ric Flair, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, faced MVP in a career-threatening match. But obviously, as we all remember, he didn't actually lose any of his career-threatening matches until WrestleMania when he faced Shawn Michaels. But he was still under that cloud that Vince McMahon had put over him at the beginning of the year. That every time he wrestled a match until he lost. But so he did technically have a career-threatening match at the Royal Rumble. So that has happened. But we've never seen anybody retire at the Royal Rumble, to my knowledge. Nothing comes to mind immediately, anyways. Not where they made it an angle in a focus of story. We're seeing a clip of last Tuesday. All right, here's Baby Femi right here. Keanu Carver just wrecking shop on all these sort of NXT NPCs fighting each other and just launching guys. And Ricky Saints, as we saw before the break, is now here at the announce table for these, I'm assuming both qualifying matches for the NXT title. Ricky Saints also in the ladder match in a couple of weeks. Sophie, I'm not mad at the idea of Powerhouse Hobbs coming to WWE. Somebody didn't arrive. Hold on. Oh, we're looking at something between Booker and Carver. Bro, so Keanu and Booker got beef. Interesting. Booker ain't talking either. Booker ain't got no comment, y'all. This is interesting. if Booker doesn't have something to say, that's how you know you're doing something. Booker and Oba would be a crazy tag team. I will say this. I wouldn't be mad. I said Booker and Oba. I meant Hobbs and Oba. Powerhouse Hobbs, I wouldn't hate him coming to NXT briefly. For to be like the Diesel to Ricky Saint, Shawn Michaels. Because Ricky loves to be running his mouth. And when you got a guy on TV that runs his mouth, having somebody who does the beating up for him is a good heat combination. And I could see the value in sending Hobbs to NXT first, just for a little bit, not for like a Thea Hale amount of time, but maybe like a Julia or Stephanie Vaquera amount of time. Wouldn't be terrible. Hey, Shamanica, good to see you. I saw your first message. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier. I was a little late myself. So we got Shiloh Hill in the ring. We'll see the toothless, the How to Train Your Dragon. Shiloh Hill is here. Yeah, Chris, Wrestling Views. I'm very intrigued by what's going on here with Keanu and Booker. And here comes Smoking Skull Josh Briggs, the Dry Ice Destroyer. Yeah, I tell you what, I don't envy Sophie's asking about WWE Unreal again, some of the writers' room discussions. I don't envy the creative team because they have to churn out ideas all the time. And like all of us have ideas, we also get to kind of live our life and come back to it. These guys are like wrestling nonstop and in their minds. And so it's very easy to just plateau out when you're forced to be creative like 24/7. So I think they're all entitled to a few bad ideas. I could see Shiloh winning this match, George. Actually, I think he might take this one. Because they're seeming to make something of him. Granted, he hasn't won every match that he's had, but they're still definitely doing something to make him a focal point. Oh yeah, well last year's PLE schedule was terrible. We complained about that all year long. You're right, Mod Father. He does look like, Luke Harper's nephew or something. Or Bo Rotunda's cousin. He looks like he could be Swamp Bray's cousin for sure. Cousin Shiloh. Cousin Thunder. Thunder Justice. Swing and neck breaker. Oh, Vic Joseph calling it the shake, rattle, and roll. Shout out to the honky tonk man. Okay, Vic Joseph, I hear you. Right, Chris Wrestling Views, exactly. George, I'm with you. Jada Parker and Blake Monroe. I want to see more of that tonight. I hope we get more development there. And also, Lola Vice says she's coming after Izzy Dame too. So I'm interested in that as well. Booker T pretty much saying that Briggs needs to, poop or get off the pot here. With the way things are going in his career. It felt like they were going to do something with Briggs a month or two ago. Briggs, you suck chance. I tell you what, NXT loves to hate Josh Briggs. Oh, totally, Dossie. Like that's the thing too, is that it's hard. You constantly have moving pieces in WWE, and then you can create a story all you want, but then you have to have that story get executed well. You also have to count on the health and availability of those people because they were already talking. Because in one of the Unreal episodes from the season, they mentioned they weren't sure when Cody was going to go film Street Fighter yet. So they thought they weren't going to have him at a certain point. So they were trying to kind of book around that, not knowing if he'd be available or not. So yeah. All right, George, let's see what you got. You said you got a fantasy booking scenario for us. ZaRuca versus JC Jane. Let's see. For the NXT Women's Championship, I'm going to put you on screen here. ZaRuca wins. We get Zarya Eternal and Soul get the feud between the two. I wouldn't mind that for the title one bit. I think JC Jane is ready to be called up as long as they have something for her. I think Soul definitely should be NXT Women's Champion at some point for sure. And her and Zarya they gotta feud and break up eventually, I would think. You'd think so, right? Because they've teased it for so long. All right, Justin, asking a question here. Who would win an Iron Survivor match between Brock, Haku, Gunther, Ilya Dragunov, Wahoo McDaniel, old school, I appreciate that, or Oba? Who wins? Well, that's a good question. If it's a shoot fight, if it's a real fight, I'm picking Haku. But if it's a booked wrestling match, I know I might sound crazy here, but I think Gunther could steal that match. I think he could steal it. I mean, you kind of want to say Brock, but I think Gunther could steal away. I think he could be very, very sneaky, you know. Chris Wrestling Views, yeah, the DiBiase family. Boy, does art imitate life sometimes. That's just terrible. Hello. Thank you. It's good to see you. The missus has just come home, everybody. Let's all celebrate together. The world is a little bit warmer. CM Punk is rumored to be on the cover of 2K26. I did hear, Sophie, that he would be the center of the showcase this year. Yeah, I'm still disappointed that they dropped that Bayley Roxy feud. I mean, they could have just run that even for a few weeks, give them a few matches on Raw, and let it be it. But they just left it. Don't love that. Don't love that at all. The draft is also rumored to be in universe mode. Oh, well, that's interesting. In universe mode, I broke Wahoo's leg. Yeah. Dusty sucks eggs. All kinds of great phrases from back in the day. Of course, they do the draft at the beginning of every year in GM mode, so transferring it over to universe mode could be a lot of fun. Yeah, I heard some of the match types there's going to be some new match types in 26. You know what? I'm fine with Natty's heel turn if that means we're actually going to get, AAA Natty, Bloodsport Natty. If we can get that Natty on the main roster, I mean, she needs to be a heel. So you team her up with Ivy and the Creeds or something like that, and maybe you could actually reinvent those guys to be like the amateur killers that they really are. I would really like it if they did something like that, but we shall see. 3 Stages of Hell, dumpster match, and you forgot the last one. Was it the Inferno match? Are they bringing the Inferno match back? Natalya hasn't really been in catering. She's just been everywhere else. Like, she hasn't been on main roster TV, but she's been wrestling for all the affiliates and stuff. When Chad Gable comes back, I mean, I think you leave the El Grande Americano stuff behind. Although I don't think it would be a bad idea if we had 2 El Grande Americano appearances at the same time in the Royal Rumble. I think that would be a fun way to bring Gable back if he's ready to come back. And other than that, yeah, send Gable back with. I don't know. I don't know who you send Gable with, but let him be Chad Gable though, because he can get some mileage out of that. Dom wearing the AEW championship. Yeah, that AI video, that was terrible. I can't believe they kept that up. And that's why we don't trust AI people. Oh, I also really loved seeing Io Sky's feature in Unreal. That was actually a lot of fun too. I don't know how Io Sky has any haters. Like, she just seems like such a likable human being. Ray and Americano versus Vikingo and Omos. Actually, I like the idea of pairing up Vikingo and Omos, because the AAA crowd hates Vikingo with a passion. So go ahead and put him with Omos, and just do that thing. I gotta admit, Briggs and Shiloh have not really done a lot to retain my attention right now. Big choke slam after a big boot and a little bit of an H bomb from Briggs. I think when they hit the big boot, they knocked out Shiloh's tooth too. So he might be getting ready to flip the switch. Who did Santos Escobar return against? I saw a brief clip of it, of him unmasking. Was it Wagner, Dr. Wagner Jr., that he showed up against? Okay. It was him. Okay. All right. Briggs going. Whoa. Briggs with a moonsault. Okay. Big man moonsault. He got good air on that too. But Shiloh missed it. Shiloh got out of the way and hit a neck breaker. 3. I would love to act confident because I did predict it, but I am surprised. Shiloh Hill pins Josh Briggs clean, and he is going to be in that ladder match with Ricky Saints and I think 4 more guys. That was a great looking moonsault by Briggs, though, although he got nothing but mat. Oh, Tony D'Angelo's here, and he's got hands for everybody again, just like the end of last week. Is Tony going to talk, or is Tony going to ruin every challenger for the NXT title? Because he ruined Hendry last week, and who was Hendry in the ring with? Was it one of the guys from Dark State? And he just cut eyes at Ricky Saints, who was hiding behind Vic Joseph. Okay, well, ZaRuca, a little trouble in paradise while they are having a little bit of a tiff there. Zarya, of course, lost her TNA Knockouts title shot in TNA. And but they have the triple threat tag match tonight against Fatal Influence and RenQCC. And here comes Cobra Kai, the Vanity Project. And some really fantastically obnoxious theme music too. It's not quite Kit Wilson, but wow. And they're going to take on Chase U coming up after the break. Gosh, these guys are too good as heels. Like, I actually kind of don't want them on my TV. They're that obnoxious looking. So we'll see what happens. Saturday night's main event this weekend, by the way. And then next weekend's the Royal Rumble. So, as Andy Williams used to sing at Christmas time, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Time for counting down from 10 to 0, 30 times. And Royal Rumble. Actually, the Royal Rumble, will be doing a Royal Rumble predictions contest. I'll be putting that out for you guys closer to the event itself, because we'll be doing a predictions show as well. I got to say, I've seen a little bit of criticism about the build to the Royal Rumble this year. And the Royal Rumble is a funny match, right? Because it's kind of the appetizer to WrestleMania. It kind of lets you know what's on the way. And so it doesn't demand a whole lot of build, but the best Royal Rumbles in history, for my money, have been ones that have some level of narrative intrigue going into it. The first best one for me, obviously, I don't say it's obviously for you guys, but 1992, the first time the WWF title was actually the prize of the Royal Rumble, the one where Ric Flair went 60 minutes and was a top to bottom. I think 19 or 20 of the 30 men are in the Hall of Fame at this point. It's one of the most prestigious lineups of Royal Rumble history. And there was a good narrative there, because the title was held up because Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker had traded the title back and forth under nefarious circumstances. So Hogan and Taker both had numbers between 20 and 30 as an advantage, since they were both former champions. But Ric Flair drew number 3, and he had to last the entire time to win. And, you had Randy Savage, Sergeant Slaughter, Sid, Roddy Piper, who had just won the Intercontinental title earlier that night, Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, Jake the Snake, British Bulldog, Ted DiBiase, so many heavy hitting, Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, early HBK. He'd fresh off the heel turn, was in that match as well. Just a great all around Rumble. So that was a great Rumble. 97 and 98 were both good. 98 and 99 were both good Rumbles. 98, I believe, is when Mr. McMahon put out a bounty, like $100,000 bounty on Stone Cold Steve Austin for someone to eliminate him. So once Stone Cold entered the match, like, everybody who was coming was gunning straight for him. And of course, Austin ended up winning that Rumble and going on to win his first WWF title that WrestleMania that year. And of course, 99, the ending sucked because Vince McMahon won the Rumble. But the story in that match was great. Like, Austin was finally going to get his hands on McMahon while he was in the Rumble. I think China was in the Royal Rumble that year, the first time a woman was ever in the Rumble. So that was a good one too. And then that was 899. I'm trying to think of other good ones where there was a good story. 2005 was a great Rumble. It was the first time we had a Royal Rumble with the brand split. And that was like the one year where they really held hard and fast to the brand split. And that was the year that Batista and John Cena both went out of the ring at the same time at the end of the Rumble by accident, as it turns out. And, Batista goes on to win that one. That was a really cool Rumble. Started out with Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit as well. They were number 1 and number 2 that year. 2010 was a great Rumble. Edge, that was his first time returning from injury in a Royal Rumble. That was the year Shawn Michaels was trying to win the Royal Rumble to force The Undertaker to face him at WrestleMania. That whole angle of Shawn Michaels, ultimately was ending up in his retirement, chasing The Undertaker for another match at WrestleMania using the Royal Rumbles. Part of that was great. And then, I know a lot of y'all hate Brock Lesnar, and I don't blame you for that at all. But the 2020 Royal Rumble was a booked fairy tale, fantastic thing of Brock coming in at number 1 and just destroying everyone one at a time until Drew McIntyre came in and eliminated him. That was a star-making performance, and that was the second time Edge returned from injury, which is, for my money, the best Royal Rumble return in history. Also, the 2016 Rumble, speaking of returns and debuts, AJ Styles debuted that year. The WWE title was on the line that year as well, although I hated the ending of that one with Triple H winning the title. I thought that was stupid. I'm more excited for the Men's Rumble, last name, middle name, because this year, the only real story we have so far. Now, granted, I haven't watched all of Raw yet, so I don't know. I know they've announced more people in the Rumble, but I don't know if they've actually built any stories. The only person who has a story going into the Rumble is Cody Rhodes, who Drew McIntyre has officially said he does not get a rematch now that he's lost the title to Drew. So this is Cody's only recourse to get a rematch for the WWE title. I don't think Cody's going to win, though. Just saying that. I agree, George. Chase U is better when they had Thea Hale, when they had a female member. But yeah, now that NXT is continuing to produce some higher profile talent, a lot of which are already being called up right now, I look forward to those sort of NXT cameos in the Royal Rumble. And I love the small moments in both Royal Rumbles where they kind of tease a stare down just to see if the crowd would be interested in a certain matchup. Like, I would love to see another stare down of Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu, Oba Femi and anybody. So yeah, I'm curious what we get there. One question I wonder, though, is that if Gunther is having his match with AJ Styles, will he still enter the Rumble as well? Booker T asked a question we've all probably wondered at one point. Is Andre Chase the only professor at Chase U? If so, I think that accreditation needs to be audited. Chase U is under control right now. There's a lot of gold in Chase U's gear, which is not the Chase U colors. So that irks me a little bit. Keep it red and white, boys. You don't have to do exactly what Duke Hudson and Andre Chase were wearing, but come on, rep your alma mater here. This tag team match brought to you by Panda Express. We got the Panda Express side plates over by the entryway tonight. Stax and Ariana Grace backstage greeting Lexus King. They look like they're planning something. Vanity Project doing a lot of good tandem offense here. Modfather asks, who would you rather retire? Brock Lesnar, Oba, or Gunther? Side note, I think Dom should retire Ray. I agree with you too, Modfather. I think Dom should be the one to retire Ray as well. At this stage, if Brock is retiring this year, I would pick I'd pick Gunther if it was this year. If it's next year, Oba. But if it's going to happen, say at SummerSlam this year, which is going to be in Minnesota, I would have Gunther do it. So I think it's time to put Chase U in the Rumble. Not this edition of Chase U. No. Andre Chase, maybe. but not these two guys. What female would fit with Chase U? Yeah, that's the hard thing, is that right now, I don't think there is a female on Chase U that would fit well on NXT. Because like my first thought would be like Ren Sinclair or Kendall Gray, but they're both better wrestlers than the Chase U guys. And honestly, it would be a demotion for both of those women. So I don't want either one of them in Chase U. Honestly, now that I think about it, maybe Tyra May Steele. She wouldn't be bad because she's got the Olympic pedigree. Man, spinning corkscrew splash off the top from Chase U, but it's only a 2 count. Cale Dixon is really showing out in this match, though. I'll give him credit. He's really working hard. Pump knee. And then a springboard stunner from Uriah Connors. Only 2. A lot of tags happening here in this match. But we've got Chase U with a double team about to. Nope. Oh, geez. Vanity Project just yeets Connor out of the ring. Connor's out of the ring, and now Dixon is all alone here with Cobra Kai. Oh. Assisted stomp, and Vanity Project takes this one. Strike hard, strike first, no mercy. Mercy is for the weak. Here on the street in competition, Chase U approaches you. He is the enemy. The enemy deserves no mercy. The Cobra Kai of NXT. Vanity Project wins again. Promo battle between... I assume, Modfather, you meant to say someone else other than Gunther. You said Gunther twice. Who am I taking? All I know at that moment would be electrifying. So Gunther and who? Vanity Project has all been called up to NXT, but Jackson Drake is still the Evolved champion. So assuming he's doing double duty here, or he'll be dropping that Evolved title at some point. See what happens. Robert Stone and Ava backstage. You'll see if we get any announcements. Oba and Gunther. Ooh. Modfather, I would slightly give the edge to Oba. I know that might sound crazy, but I think he's got that confidence, man. He just is unshaken. Okay, so we're stacking up this February 3rd card. Not only are we having a ladder match, we're having a triple threat women's North American title match. Thea Hale and Lola Vice will be taking on Izzy Dame. And we're going to get to see Miss Parker when we come back from break. So this show's shaping up as well. Yeah. But yeah, an Oba and Gunther promo battle would be a lot of fun because Gunther is really starting to find his bag as a promo guy. This is going to sound so weird, guys, and it may not make a lot of sense. I'm going to try to make sense of it for you. But he honestly kind of reminds me of real life Bret Hart in a way, the way he's just kind of savage with it. And he's kind of smug about it, Like Gunther is a hater on everybody in WWE the way Bret Hart hates Goldberg. Like I don't know how else to put it, but he's such a good hater. And Oba, like I alluded to earlier, just seems unshakable in a promo battle. Like he just is not intimidated by you. So it doesn't matter what you say, you cannot break his confidence. And he's not cocky, but he's just sure of himself because he is the ruler, and that's that. And so I love the way Oba will put over an opponent only to say, I'm going to destroy you. And like that, not necessarily the way Oba delivers it, but that idea, right? Of you are an amazing athlete, and I'm going to prove to the world that's why I'm so much better, because you are great, but I am greater. Is wrestling promo 101, because you don't actually want to tear down your opponent before the match, because if you win, then you just beat a nobody. But if you beat a somebody, that makes you even greater. And also, if you lose, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, of course I lost. That I just told all y'all he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So, but Oba don't lose. So anyway, I like that about Oba. It's very old school. So many of his feuds in NXT before he relinquished the title and disappeared in a puff of smoke. No, he was oftentimes putting over his opponents really strongly, only to come through at the end and say, "Yeah, but you're coming up against the ruler, and I'm going to destroy you." And it's just a matter of science. It's science. Yeah, you can't beat Obafemi. It's science. So Sheamus and Oba would be a nasty match. That'd be a lot of bruising for sure. Last name. Shamanica, what you got? Breaking news. Blake Monroe, Zarya, Miles Bourne, and Ricky Saints have been confirmed by 2K with a new 2K cover for NXT. Oh, okay. An NXT cover. I might have to get that one. I'm happy to, I mean, Ricky Blake and Zarya were absolutely no-brainers to me to be in the game. I'm happy for Miles too that he made it. I wonder if Stephanie Vaquer had anything to say about that too. Put my man in the game. No. Love Stephanie. Braun and Oba in a promo battle. I don't know about that, man, because their energies conflict so much, because Oba is so calm and rational in the way he cuts promos, and Braun is so unhinged. I almost feel like that. I feel like that could be a catastrophe, if I'm being honest. You might want to keep those guys apart. Oh, George, you think Tatum's going to be added to that match too? I think that is a safe bet, because if anybody's got beef with Izzy, it is Tatum. All right, we got a sit-down interview with Keanu Carver. Ooh, Keanu is giving us some aggressive Marshawn Lynch vibes. Keanu's a bit of a punk. This is very interesting. Like, Keanu Carver is clearly like, he's like the mega talented roster member who is absolutely a disciplinary issue. He's Dennis Rodman. He's Ndamukong Suh. He's, Antonio Brown. I don't know, man. I'm interested to see how this goes. Meanwhile, Miss Parker is in the ring, everybody. Oh, no. Well, I hope Daphne LaShawn is okay. Leon Rush 2, I didn't know. One, I didn't know they were an item. Two, I hate to see that they were in an accident. Hopefully they're okay. Welcome back, Chance, for Jada. She's enjoying it. All right, Jada Parker putting over Kendall Gray. Okay. All right, she putting over Lola and Kendall, but not Blake. All right, crowd's behind her. All right. Well, I'm not going to say anything yet. I'm going to keep hearing Jada out here. Uh-oh. Ice just went out. Jada was cutting a good promo, though. Oh, here comes Blake to interrupt. These two are so different from each other. It's a very intriguing feud. Mm. Okay. Jada does not feel threatened by Blake at all. I love it. And Blake is very offended by Miss Parker. I'll tell you this. In 2010 or maybe 2009, The Miz, let me finish. The Miz cut a promo on Monday Night Raw prior to him winning Money in the Bank. That was a star-making moment that set him on a trajectory to be world champion material. I feel like we got a piece of that with Jada Parker tonight for NXT. Miles Bourne walking down Ricky Saints. Are we gonna get a little bit of a two-man power trip with Ethan Page and Ricky Saints? Because they've got some chemistry. And Ethan Page is also trying to carry and cross Miles Bourne a little bit too, and be like, oh, you need to find your heelish tendencies, pal, if you want to win around here. So anyway, I'm interested. We'll see what we get. But anyway, yeah. So, Royal Rumbles, we were talking about this in the last commercial break. The best Royal Rumbles have a strong story going into them. And the last year's Royal Rumble didn't have a huge story going into it, the Men's Rumble, but it had the advantage of so much star power. And we don't fully know yet who all's in the Men's Rumble. We know a few people. But that could end up being really strong too. This year could end up being really strong. So the good thing about the Rumble is the match does most of the work in the Royal Rumble. But if you've got a strong foundation going into it to build some hype, that really puts it in over the top. Which is why, if you weren't with me in the last commercial break, I had mentioned 92 was a great story. 98 and 99 were great stories. 05 was a great story. 2010 was a great story. 2020 was a great story. And 2016 was a good story as well. But, then there's some Royal Rumbles where the match itself kind of is the story. And that makes for a good Rumble too. I think 2001, the third one that Austin won was really good. 2004, the one that Benoit won was really good. 2018, the one that Shinsuke Nakamura won. Let's forget about the fact that they pretty much fumbled his whole career after that. But up until that moment, that was a fantastic one. Lockwood's right. 08, the one with the Cena return at the end, was a great match, standalone match, as well. So yeah, and honestly, I thought last year's Rumble match, the match alone, was really good too, with Jay winning at the end, because Jay made the most sense to me at the time. Sometimes you have a guy like Jay who is crazy over, and you just want to take a chance and see, like, can this dude run with the ball? And you find out if he can or if he can't. And Jay was able to run with it for a little while, and then he kind of ran out of gas. Yeah, like what 2020 was a fantastic story, both going into it and the match itself. I mean, because you had the first half of the match was Brock, and the second half pretty much was dictated by Edge's return. but with Drew being the connective tissue and all of that and winning. And even at the end, that was still Drew and Roman at the end. So we weren't totally sure that Drew was actually going to win that match, because there were a lot of us watching that with Drew and Roman being the final two, being like, well, Drew eliminated Brock, so he could already get his title shot with Brock that way, and Roman could win the Rumble. You just didn't really know for sure. And it was just fantastic. It was a fantastic Rumble. It was one of my favorite ones to see. I thought it was booked super, super well. Rick RT in the house. RT Rick, good to see you, my friend. Glad that you're here. Could I imagine Truth and Chase you in the Rumble? Oh my gosh. That would be wild for sure. I wonder, I like, one thing I really like about the Rumble in general is a lot of the small moments that they can book. Sometimes it's just to tease us of what's possible. And sometimes you just get a little nod to things. Like the Women's Rumble, was it last year or it was 2 years ago, where Jordan Grace and Naomi went face to face in the Rumble, and they had a big hug, but it was either Bianca or Jade in there who snatched Naomi back. Like, what are you doing? Snatched Jordan back, being like, what are you doing hugging my friend? I thought that was pretty entertaining, So we'll see what happens. We're getting a clip of Unreal Season 2, which it is already live on Netflix now. A good season. With the TNA agreement, Santino, it would be a great time for him to be a cameo in the Rumble for sure. If I could just see the trombone taunt one more time, I'd be happy enough for that. But I don't want him dressing in drag and showing up in the Women's Rumble again. I think we're past that as wrestling fans. I don't know about Hobbs. I honestly, if it were me, I would not put Hobbs in the Rumble. I would keep anyone who is Obafemi adjacent out of the Royal Rumble in terms of debuting someone, because I don't want anybody to. I again want to see Obafemi debut in the Royal Rumble and go on a tear. He didn't have to win, but to go on a tear, eliminate the most people in that Rumble. But so I would not put Hobbs in there. I'd try to keep Trick Williams far away from him in the Rumble as well. I wouldn't bring Omos in for this Rumble. Just let Oba be the one. All right. So Sean Legacy looking like he stole that vest from Johnny Gargano. And we're getting Sean Legacy versus Eli Knight. This should be a crazy match here. They're playing a voiceover, but we're not getting a video. Production snafu. But yeah, Sean and Eli, I have high expectations for this being match of the night. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully there's no, interference or anything like that. I mean, will Tony D'Angelo, we saw him get involved earlier in the Briggs and Shiloh Hill match after it was over. All right. Yeah, I'm leaning on Sean Legacy for this one too. Oh, it's in the left corner. Yeah, it's just not showing up on my screen. I guess my aspect ratio or something is not right on my broadcast. I know Eli night, almost like LA night. All right, here we go. I hope they get enough time to work here, and I hope Tony D'Angelo doesn't ruin this match. Seriously, Eli looks like he could be hanging out in the same hood as Leon Slater and Javon Evans. Like they'd have to be the bouncy version of the Golden Girls. Those three. Good to know, Shimonica. I'll try to keep my eyes peeled. Oh, that's right. We still got the women's triple threat tag main eventing tonight, I'm assuming. These two's gear almost looks like they could be a tag team. Rick, the only thing I've heard so far about Javon is that maybe it's not as serious as they thought it was. A lot of his stuff is precautionary. Yeah, he did. They had a scare last night and they had to cut his match short. But I heard that they were basically just doing some like safety protocol with him. But I heard that it's nothing too serious. So hopefully he'd be good enough for the Rumble. That would be fantastic. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody in NXT is winning the TNA Knockout tag titles. I think they're just going to go to TNA to have a good match. Legacy with a big suicide dive now. Springboarding back in. Springboard cross body. Only two. Oh, Ash by Elegance is back. Oh, that's great. I'm happy to hear that, George. I was afraid she wasn't going to wrestle again. Yeah, Justin, I don't know when we get a Zarya singles run, she's gonna have to turn heel for that, I would think. So whenever ZaRuca breaks up, I think that's when we'll get it. So we'll see, but it's got to be incoming. I imagine we get it probably close to Stand and Deliver or leading up to that, because I could see us getting Soul versus Zarya at Stand and Deliver. Ooh, Eli Knight tried to go for a Sai moonsault. Oof. Goodness. Okay, well, that sends us to commercial. And yeah, I mean these are two high flyers for sure. So one of them will be heading on to the ladder match, which is currently composed of Shiloh Hill and Ricky Saints. And we'll see who else is a part of that coming up soon. Yeah, I agree with that, George. I think it could be for the title at that point. I would be down with that. Yeah, I didn't expect ZaRuca to last this long either. It just got over together, and it's nice. It's nice that they've held on for so long. Hopefully, that creates more impact when it eventually does dissolve. I'm curious. I wish I knew the calendar right off the top of my head of NXT's PLEs going forward, leading up to Stand and Deliver, because I wonder if you could get the NXT Women's title involved in that. I don't know, because Stand and Deliver, the WrestleMania weekend, having Soul versus Zarya for the title could be a lot of fun. RT Rick brings up a good question. We know Jericho will probably be at the Rumble. What other legend would you like to see? Well, yeah, I would love to see kind of a cameo legend appearance by Jericho. I'm not super interested in him being involved, in anything crazy like the title picture. I think him being involved with, say, like Dominic Mysterio or LA Knight, even. I would love a promo battle between Jericho and LA Knight. I think that could be good and give LA Knight something to do. Would be fun. As far as other legends, that is a good question. I have to think on that and get back to you. Honestly, it would be cool to see the Hardys in the Rumble. Have Jeff Hardy come in. Why not? I mean, I know there would like some of those guys with TNA. I think Jeff Hardy, somebody mentioned Santino earlier. Santino would be fun as well. Not all at once, but I think maybe no more than 3 legends. That's honestly kind of a lot as well. But I think maybe 2 legends would be good for the Rumble, for the men's Rumble at least. I mean, just for a match. You can always, I would say always, but you're still in a position with the women's Rumble that the roster is still filling out year to year, that you could do a few more legends in there if you wanted to. But at this point, if you could borrow from AAA, TNA, and NXT, you may not need a ton of legends at the Rumble. Kane's not a bad idea at all. Kane and Braun Strowman, both of them, because, hear me out, have Obafemi eliminate both of them. I wonder if Mark Henry's in ring shape. If Mark Henry could get in Rumble shape, have Oba eliminate a Mark Henry. Any of those big monsters that are legends, have Oba kill those guys. That would be dope. Figuratively speaking. And we're going back and forth here with Legacy and Eli Knight. Meanwhile, the WrenQCC backstage getting hyped up by Charlie Dempsey, who is back. Did anybody watch the Evolve match with Charlie Dempsey and Timothy Thatcher? I didn't see it, but I really wanted to, though. I'm just curious if that was any good. Because putting that match on Tubi is wild. Standing Spanish fly. I love that move from Legacy. I hate the Spanish fly move off the top rope because it takes too much time to set up. But catching it off the ropes, he's so clean with it. And a springboard 450 only gets 2. Sean Legacy, man. Oh, man. Super kicked Eli Knight right in the throat. Jeez. Vengeance Day and Roadblock. That's right. Vengeance Day is probably in February. Roadblock likely in March. Yeah. And then we'll get Stand and Deliver in April. So you have time to get the belt off JCJ, and you have time to break up ZaRuca. You could do Soul versus Zarya for the NXT Women's title at Stand and Deliver. There's time. Part of me kind of wants them to get a new NXT title by February 3rd. Oh my gosh. Overhead belly to belly into the turnbuckles from Eli Knight. Oh, double moonsault Only 2 for Eli Knight. Lands on his feet off the top on the backflip and springs into another standing moonsault to get 2. I tell you what, Ricky Saints is selling this match really well with his facial expressions too. They're cutting to him after the big spots, and he's definitely registering a lot of respect on his face for both these guys. Charlie and Timothy as a tag team. Yeah, bring Timothy into the WrenQCC or the NQCC. Now that's Thatcher, Dempsey, Wren, and Kendall. Come on, dude. Come on. That would be a low-key amazing faction. Legacy always sneaks one. RVD. Yeah, RVD would absolutely be good for a pop. Yeah, and we got to think, too, this is going to be in Saudi. So I'm just curious how many of these guys would make the trip for it. I mean, the Saudi paychecks are pretty notoriously generous. Oh, man, feet up. Wipes out the moonsault for Eli Knight. Now Legacy got him up in the torture rack and spinning neck breaker out of the torture rack. And that's 1, 2, 3. Sean Legacy qualifies for the ladder match. Now, will Tony D'Angelo make his presence known here? You merely adopted the ladder match. I was born in it, molded by it. They expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Legacy pulls up Eli Knight and showing a hand of sportsmanship. But Tony D'Angelo back again, here to wreak some havoc on both guys. And he just sends Eli Knight out of the ring after throwing Legacy face first into the turnbuckles. We're going to get a choke slam on the announce table. Oh, man, and the table didn't give at all. Ricky Saints screaming at Tony, what are you doing? Ricky holding that announce chair like it's going to do something. Bro, you got that desk chair at Staples. Tony D'Angelo's just standing in the ring. Now here comes Ava with the Temu Shield coming out here. SWAT officers. This ain't no Roman, Dean, and Seth. I tell you that right now. This is Leroy, Bruce, and Jethro. Larry, Daryl, and Daryl. Okay, Tony turns around and gives himself up, puts his hands behind his back. He's going to be let off in handcuffs. Rick, this is just local law enforcement dressed like SWAT. They look like Foot Locker security. Ava looks disgusted. Okay. Well, Tony D'Angelo has been standing in the distance for several weeks and was staring at the NXT title. He ain't no rat. Yeah, he ain't no snitch. Tony no snitch. And ever since they announced that there would be qualifying matches for a ladder match for the NXT title, he's been wiping out every single potential qualifier after their matches. So curious. Yeah, I mean, it seems it stands to reason that Tony would be added to the match. You would think so. Sorry, I was channeling my inner Princess Bride. You'd like to think that, wouldn't you? But it makes the most sense to just add him to the match. Otherwise, you would just bring him in to challenge the first champion, but it's still unclear where his loyalties lie if they lie anywhere, you know? So it's very curious. It's a curious thing. But we're only 2 weeks away from finding out at least who the next NXT champion will be. So it's got my attention. First you have my curiosity. Now you have my attention. Shout out if you know where that quote is from. Yeah, so anyway, I appreciate this version. This I call him Bane Tony, much like the Crow Sting from the old days in WCW. I find this version of Tony very interesting, at least more interesting than Mafia Don Tony, wearing the white tank top and suspenders. So, you know, we'll see what he brings to the table, and if we get any kind of explanation as to what he's up to and what his motivations are. We will just wait and see. Oh yeah, Tony ain't staying on the inside. That's for sure. We know that's for sure. But will he be out by the end of the broadcast? That's the question, because you only got about 25 minutes before the show's over. So what would be wild is if somebody like freed him, kind of like the Joker in the Dark Knight, on his way out of the arena. That could be really interesting too. Sean Swavey, what's up, man? Glad you're here tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, no doubt he would run the place for sure. Yeah, I wonder what we'll get from Tony in the weeks to come. We'll have to see, as we should be coming back from break now. Yeah, the triple threat tag match should be our main event tonight. And of course, the winner of that match will go to TNA to challenge, I believe it's the Elegance brand, for the knockout tag titles. Or is it? Yeah. For some reason, I thought I read that the Inspiration may have won those titles recently, but maybe not. It would be interesting if the Iconics showed up in the Royal Rumble. All right, now we're getting a flashback to Izzy Dame winning the North American title. Oh, it's a culling promo. Elegance brand. Okay, George. Thanks for clarifying. Nick Nemeth could totally show up in the Rumble, I think. I don't know if he will or not, but I think he's a real possibility. Okay, thanks, Stassi. So I wasn't wrong. They did hear them. They did win them at some point. Do I think Ethan Page is going to drop the championship, somehow get into the NXT picture again, or does he get called up? That's a good question, Sean. I would kind of rather see him get into the title picture again. I just want to make absolutely sure they have a plan for Ethan Page when he comes up to the main roster, because he deserves good attention, because he's got what it takes. Tony is being escorted from the building. This broadcaster's having a go of it tonight. He can't get none of his questions answered. No comment from Tony D, because he ain't no snitch. Is that OTM walking up? Yes, he did last name. OTM challenging for the tag titles next week. And that poor interviewer, man, he ain't getting no love tonight from anybody. Okay, Jackson Drake is going to be in a qualifying match next week. Joe Hendry. Okay. And here he is. Joe Hendry took the place of one of the pretty blondes who Cobra Kai had their arm around. I love a good Joe Hendry backstage segment. Swaby was saying before that would be interesting if you can get Paige gets drafted to Raw. It's a Wednesday. So the Continental Championship puts a Canadian strap on it. Yeah, Canadian strap on the IC title. That's not so bad. I did not see anybody in the background. I missed that, but Fatal Influence making their entrance. And here comes ZaRuca. All right. And WrenQCC are going to be the last ones to enter. I wonder if they're going to get the commercial entrance, which is honestly not very respectful, if I'm being honest. But anyway, main event time, triple threat tag match. Who do you have for our main event? Taking on the Elegance brand. I'm going to lean towards ZaRuca. I just think there's more story to be told with ZaRuca working together in tag matches. If we are going to do the thing, we've been talking about all night, which may be building towards them breaking up. I think them going to TNA together as a team, that could be a good step in the right direction, unless they do something tonight. That would be crazy. But I'm not all that interested in Fatal Influence winning this match. But I would be okay with Ren and Kendall winning as well. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. You're interested in Fatal Influence? Shawn Michaels needs to break them up. Yeah, I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready to see if JC Jane can swim on the main roster. I think in ring, she could probably have some good matches. I'm curious how her character would last up there, though. Yeah. Like, I wonder, do you bring up Fatal Influence together? I'm not really, I don't think so. But if you didn't, would you pair JC with somebody or just leave her on her own? I don't think she would be a terrible addition to Kiana James, the stable with Julia. Her and Julia may not have a ton of chemistry together, but if you pivot the focus to Kiana James just being a manager of multiple wrestlers, it's not a bad idea. Well, Fallon Henley, so that's a good question, George, because Jasper Troy just defended the men's speed title last week after they had a men's tournament. And I think that they really ought to be announcing a women's speed tournament in a week now. The way they've been doing it since both speed titles came to NXT was to have like a women's tournament and then title match, and then a men's tournament and title match instead of doing them concurrently and at the same time. So, I mean, it's definitely the ladies' turn. So I don't know why they don't just go ahead and do that now, unless they're trying to determine who should get those matches. I would put JC Jane on SmackDown 100%. I feel like the Raw roster is a little crowded with ladies right now because you've got Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, Bailey, Rhea, Io, Stephanie Vaquer, Maxine, Ivy Nile, Natty, Asuka, Kyrie Saint. There's a lot of heavy hitter ladies. Dark State backstage. Okay. Honestly, that's one of the better promos I've heard from Dark State than just having casual conversation rather than trying to like perform a promo. You know what I mean? I actually kind of like that. So yeah, Hendry versus Drake, Chase versus Car. Oh my gosh, Keanu Carver is going to murder Andre Chase. That's going to be a murder death kill of 187. Okay. Here's Kendall and Ren. Oh, Mr. Elegance is here. The concierge. Is that what they call him? Whenever I hear someone called the concierge, I always think of Tim Curry and Home Alone 2. A cheese pizza. Compliments of the Plaza Hotel. Okay, well we're going triple threat style with three women in the ring at once. So it's Kendall, Soul, and Laney in the ring. So it's going to be like that, huh? It's Laney and Fallon as the representatives for Fatal Influence. Well, they're doing quite an interesting sort of triple threat sequence. Now Zarya tags herself in to the disappointment of ZaRuca. Now Zarya has already disclosed that she's got some shoulder damage she's wrestling with. Tell you what, RenQCC, they're moving fast. Oh, Zarya hits that shoulder in the corner. Ren is fantastic, Rick. You're absolutely right about that. Oh, okay. So they're playing up Zarya's shoulder injury. Soul tried to do her little like handstand off of Zarya's shoulders, but her shoulder gave out and they couldn't do the move. So both ZaRuca are out of the ring right now. Big jump off the top from Ren, takes out Fatal Influence, and then Kendall takes out ZaRuca. So Kendall and Ren are standing tall right now. That would be interesting last name. Fatal Influence with Becky Lynch is kind of, I don't know, proteges. That could be interesting. I can envision a universe where that could work. We'll see. We'll see what comes of it, huh? But we're on break right now as the action continues in the ring. Oh, let's go, let's go. Fellow coalition members, A and B combos in the house. Let's go, Kendall and WrenXT. What's up, everyone? Good to see you, A and B. Thanks for hopping in here and during the main event of NXT. Been an interesting show tonight. More developments with Tony D'Angelo. We're filling out that field for the next NXT championship match, that ladder match that'll be in 2 weeks. And got a nice little promo from Miss Parker and Blake Monroe as well. Meanwhile, we've got a triple threat women's tag team match. The winners will go to TNA to challenge for the TNA knockout tag titles. And Ren Sinclair in control right now. She cranks this like sort of cattle mutilation type move. Love it. Yeah, they're concierge, George. That's what they call them, is there. Big face buster from Fallon onto Soul. Springboard double stomp from Kendall. Oh, the Leon Slater Carmelo Hayes match was really good. Yeah, I'm glad that Slater got a chance to shine on SmackDown. You know he's 100% coming to the main roster at some point when his TNA deal is up. But yeah, he was a lot of fun. Yeah, Ren is a great underdog, and wrestling needs those. Like that is part of the role of storytelling. So I 100% love her being a part of the show. Because she's got a good underdog personality too. Like she's the kind of girl you want to root for. at the same time. In the 80s, she would have been the girl that actually ended up with the guy at the end of the movie, who you thought was the girl next door best friend the whole time. That's Ren Sinclair, man. Like in a typical 80s movie, some dumb boy would be chasing after Blake Monroe, and Ren Sinclair would have been his best friend the whole time. And he would have ended up with Ren Sinclair at the end once he saw the error of his ways. Like Teen Wolf, for example. But yeah, we love Ren Sinclair here at Park Bar Wrestling. And Kendall Gray, too. Kendall's a beast. All right, we are back. And we're about to get a Tower of Doom superplex here? No. Ooh, Doomsday Device. ZaRuca with a clothesline on Kendall Gray off of Fallon's shoulders. Yeah, so, well, I think it was a combination of visa issues, Sean, and the opportunity to get utilized on that London SmackDown. I think both might have been true at the same time. Who do I think needs to work on their selling ability? Most people in AEW. No. That's a good question, last name. I'll think about that. Honestly, these boys are pretty new, but I think Sean Legacy and Eli Knight, their match, they both could have sold a little bit more. They probably were a little rushed just because there were more matches and more things to get to tonight. But I could see them taking a little more time to slow down. Great workers, both of them, but I think they could take a little bit more time. Just a thought. I'll tell you what, man. Ren and Kendall work really well together. Ooh, big knee from Laney Reed. And Kendall is just going for it. Oh, man. Blue Thunder Bomb from Laney Reed. Only gets 2 because the Blue Thunder Bomb only gets 2. Unless you're U.S. champion Sami Zayn. Big Kendall chance. O'Connor roll. Oh, she dipped and dived and ducked and dodged a shot from JC Jane and then just snapped Laney Reed into an armbar. Nobody from ZaRuca in the camera shot. Oh, she's got the armbar. Could she tap? Oh, huge splash from Soul. Only gets 2. Springboard frog splash from Soul breaks it up. Yeah, last name. I hope Javon is okay. Big women's wrestling chant from the NXT faithful. Yeah, I hope everybody stays as healthy as possible this year. Yeah, this has been a really good main event. And it's just not a given who the winner will be of this match. And so it really makes it even more intriguing. Big overhead belly to belly by Kendall to Laney. But she eats a face buster from Soul. Backcracker from Soul to Laney into a German suplex. Now here comes Fallon. Soul got hands for Fallon. And now Zarya tags herself in. Soul disappointed. Double spear from Zarya, but she's selling the shoulder a little bit. Oh, no. They tried to do a double team maneuver, but Soul got neutralized. Now Zarya's alone with Kendall and Laney. Shades of Gray by Kendall Gray. But Laney with a stomp. Now it's just Laney and Zarya. Oh, and JC just hits the rolling encore on JC. Well, now Ren Sinclair with a drop kick, but she gets thrown into the barrier by Fallon. So it's Zarya and Laney Reed one-on-one in the ring right now. And a crucifix bomb by Laney Reed. She's tagging in Fallon. And I think Zarya's in trouble. Oh, Zarya reverses. She gets the F5 position. But nope, DDT from Fallon. Blockbuster by Fallon. 2, but no. Soul drags Fallon out of the ring and a spear to Fallon on the outside of the ring. Zarya alone in the ring. Throws her back in. Fallon back in, but here comes Laney. Pushes off. Okay, here's Fatal Influence, and here's Soul. Double Soul Snatcher. Double Soul Snatcher. She picks up and throws her right to Zarya. We're about to get the F5. Three. ZaRuca wins. ZaRuca finds their chemistry and pulls out that dub right at the moment. Vic Joseph confirms OTM versus Dark State for the tag titles next week. Do I think we need more tag teams on the main roster or NXT? We need more men's tag teams in NXT for sure. Otherwise, I think there are enough tag teams on the main roster on both shows, but they need to be just booked better. Like they need more stories other than I want the titles. But what a main event. That was a great main event. Those ladies cooked so hard. They went all out. That was PLE level, an NXT PLE level main event for the tag match main event. Sean asked, do you think AJ Styles is going to retire the Royal Rumble? Would he get some kind of win and kind of no contest to continue that feud? Sean, I don't know what they're going to do with AJ. I feel really torn about them doing that, you know? But I will say this. It's not out of the realm of possibility to me that AJ loses that match and he actually finishes career in TNA, where he started it. But I said this earlier in the show, I think before you came in the chat. Ultimately, I just want AJ to get what he wants out of his last year of wrestling. That he gets the matches he wants and he gets to just cook in the ring. Because, man, all he's given to the business. Hope he gets it. But yeah, we get 3 different qualifying matches next week, as well as Dark State versus OTM for the tag titles. Ooh, okay. All right, Dro. I hope you enjoy your CPK, my friend. Yeah, I hope OTM takes those tag titles as well. Should be a lot of fun. But we are wrapping up NXT tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining me for the show. Next week is going to be all set up really well. I will be going live for Saturday night's main event. I agree with you, A&B. I think it's incredibly rushed to entertain the idea of AJ retiring in 2 weeks unless there's more coming. And if that's going to TNA and finishing where he started, that's great. Because I think it's too soon. It's too soon to beat Gunther, and it's too soon to retire AJ. If he's actually going to be retired. So I really hope he ends up being TNA bound, if that's what's going to happen. Or you could do some kind of messy finish. I wouldn't be mad at a messy finish. It would just make me ask, why'd you do the match in the first place? But I don't know. You know, I won't be too upset about it. But thank you guys again for joining me. I'll try to get the poll out to you guys soon. Be on the lookout for more. I'm going to give you my thoughts on Unreal coming to the channel in the next day or two. And also I'm on TikTok and Instagram at Marked by Wrestling. So be sure to follow me there. And we'll be back for more NXT next week, but I'm also going to be live Saturday for Saturday night's main event too. So stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like the video. And I will see you guys again very, very soon. So thank you so much for being with me again tonight. We'll say it like we say every single week. Do not be afraid to be a mark, because being a mark just means you believe, and believing makes wrestling better. Love you guys so much. See you again very, very soon. Take care.